All right. So the next thing to know about intellectual property is this thing which is called piracy. And so piracy is stealing intellectual property. And you know there's software piracy where you're downloading software and not paying for it, or you know there's music piracy. You can see some of the categories: software piracy, music piracy, right? And so the question you need to ask yourself is like, okay, you wouldn't walk into Best Buy and take the CD, right? Like, or if you would, like, that's a different level of stealing to actually physically walk out of Best Buy with the CD. Versus like, okay, am I going to download it from the internet? That's like, you know, less likely to get caught. So does that make it more okay? But in both instances, you got the music for free. And so in reality, the crime is no different. You haven't, you know, done anything different. You've stolen music from somebody who owns it. And then so the even next level is like, would you rip your friend's CD into your computer, into your iTunes, right? And so that's like another level of software piracy or music piracy, or install somebody else's software on your computer. And so that's piracy. And in movies, right? People download movies, and it's a crime. You should know that. And so yeah, if you do it at home or on your laptop, you're less likely to get caught than if you're walking out of Best Buy. But is that the only thing that motivates you, whether or not you'll get caught, right? If I can get away with it, I'm going to do it. You know, and so what kind of a character, what kind of character does that mean you have if you kind of have that philosophy? If I could get away with it, I'm going to do it. So that, you know, the thing to know though is, right, it's against the law, punishable by up to 5 years in prison and a fine of $250,000. The punishment I think can vary, right, depending upon what you do. So I don't know. I'm just looking here to see if there's any other images that are interesting to look at. I think the next thing I want to say is intellectual property theft. If you look for that online, right, it costs Australia 15 billion. And Wikipedia here, it says it's 2011. Trade in counterfeit, copyrighted, and trademark works was $600 billion industry worldwide and counted for 5 to 7% of global trade. So it's a pretty large-scale phenomena that people are like, hey, if I could get away with it, I am going to get away with it. And that source is a pretty good source, the Northwestern EDU Law Journal. Yeah, 5 to 7% of global trade is stolen intellectual property. Kind of crazy. And so that's one perspective, that it's illegal, and you could get in trouble. And the other perspective is that corporations wreak havoc, you know, on society, and corporations get away with all kinds of stuff, including creating laws which are beneficial for them by lobbying the government. And so, hey, screw corporations, I'm going to steal it because they kind of operate unethically. And so I'm just going to play by their rules. You might kind of take that attitude. I'm picturing you right now at home cheering. And, you know, so that'd be one perspective. Sure, you know, kind of like a Robin Hood perspective, steal from the rich and give to the poor, right? Corporations have got enough money. The rich have got enough money. The 1%, right? They just keep getting richer and the rest of us keep getting screwed. So to hell with them, you know, I'm going to take a little music. Another perspective, a little bit more socially oriented perspective, is that, you know, ultimately economics is about the distribution of scarce resources. And so you could argue that society has failed in the distribution of scarce resources, and that Bruce Springsteen, you know, already has enough money, and that the benefit, the marginal benefit of Bruce Springsteen getting another dollar, right, for a song is not going to be as great as the marginal benefit of some inner city kid having access to music and being culturally enriched and maybe even inspired to become a musician himself by being able to listen to, you know, different music, right? Bruce Springsteen or Miles Davis or whoever, you know, by having access to those cultural resources will actually, you know, be a more enriched culture overall. And so, yeah, to hell with the rich, we're going to take the music or the software, right? So those would be some pro-social arguments that you might think about on the other side of the coin, justifying it. And anyhow, you know, you do need to know, though, if you do it, it's against the law. And if you get caught, there are consequences. So absolutely be aware of that. There's just, you can stop the video now. I'm just going to look at a couple of these images. Instead of driving to get CDs, buying prepackaged software from mega corporations and wasting energy, you can help fight global warming by using peer-to-peer networks. Help save resources, fight pollution, and save the environment. It's what Jesus would do. Download music, right? And here are pirates' attitudes towards piracy. Can get what I want faster, would stop downloading unauthorized content if received an email or a call, would stop downloading completely if thought better chance of being caught, would pay for legal downloads if they had what I wanted. Legal download sites don't have the range of illegal ones, right? So those are some of the reasons people have for downloading it. Anyhow, that's piracy.